Yes, lads, I know it's been a couple of weeks, but we are back with the third episode of the Two Aside podcast.
Today we've asked some friends of the podcast to submit some very, very, let's just say, controversial footballing opinions. Some of these are absolutely horrible. We're going to jump straight into these. We're going to try and cut down the length of the podcast this week. Obviously, I think it was 2 hours, 10 minutes of the last one. And
we're hoping for around an hour this episode, but we can't promise anything. Nothing
can be promised. So, let's start. Should we just start at the top list and go down?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
All
okay,
right,
so let's start with our good friend Henry, who we're going to give a little bit of context before we go into all of these. Henry is a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
So that just gives you a little bit of background to the opinion.
All right, so his opinion was Oscar,
the Brazilian
at Chelsea, would have been top 10 players in the Premier League if he stayed.
All time?
All time, yeah.
Okay.
I think that's mental.
Yeah, that
might
so
be the
bad.
most outrageous
We've
thing.
started off right in the deep end. Hopefully they don't get any worse than this.
I mean...
oh, God.
He had 40 goals and assists in 131 appearances. Yes. That's just...
So he's blanked for nearly 100 games there in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, this is when he was at Chelsea when they were winning league titles.
Yeah, exactly.
He was playing in the best team in the league. He had, players like Hazard, like, who else was in that? Like Pedro, like Fabregas was in that team. Yeah, William was in that team. He even when you talk about assists, he was giving the ball into like Diego Costa. He probably played with Drogba.
Yeah,
I said Maradona. Drogba there. You actually have to think about the stats there and how that is so mental.
Yeah, that is. Even in his last season, he only had 10 games in 16-17 season. Well, he only got 1 assist in 10 games.
Yeah, that is not the greatest for a Chelsea super team.
For the end of his career as well.
It was a very attacking Chelsea team as well. They used to play with those wing backs, didn't they, under Conte, especially with Alonso, who'd get a lot of goals, and Victor Moses, who'd it feels ridiculous saying Victor Moses is probably the best right back in the league at a point, but he was. That was a very attacking Chelsea team. Even their centre backs would score goals. Like obviously David Luiz, very famous at Chelsea for pitching in goals. Yeah, that is just absolutely outlandish.
To be honest, I think Luis Diaz is better than Oscar.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of current players in the Premier League now who are better than Oscar. I think Bernardo Silva is most definitely past his legacy.
I know he's saying if he stayed, but... Even if he stayed... I don't even think.
And you have to think about the trajectory Chelsea went on as well, especially after losing Hazard.
Yeah, exactly.
Was Oscar the type of player that could stop that sort of the massive fall off that Chelsea had alone by himself? No.
No way.
Would he, even if he stayed, even if he was playing, because he's like, I'd say like early to mid 30s now.
Yeah.
Oscar, I think he's still playing in China.
Is he? Shanghai, innit?
Yeah, or he's just maybe retired recently, but I think he's still playing out there. So. And he always did say that he went there for the money.
Yeah.
He never, he was always quite transparent about that, which I did quite like. But yeah, I just think that is a ridiculous thing to say. And
100%.
even if he didn't mean all time, and he meant top 10 players at one point, I still think that would have been ridiculous to say.
Thinking of the players that was like...
Okay, so if you think about so if we split this into sort of like 3 eras and we look at the sort of 2015, 2020 and present day.
Okay.
Around 2015 times, if he was playing the way he was...
Yeah.
No, top 10 players in Premier League. So like...
in Premier League,
you've got your Agueros.
Yeah.
You've got all those type of players. He still wouldn't have been
top 10.
If you're talking about the 2020s...
Still got KDB, Bruno Fernandes.
All of the front three at Liverpool. You got Van Dijk, you got Alisson, you got still Aguero. He would not have been top 10, even if he went to his full potential.
Even present day,
even at present day, he would not have been present. Even if Oscar fulfilled all of his potential,
would he be starting for Chelsea now?
I
don't think he would.
Yeah, because him and Cole Palmer would play as a double, because they do play 3 behind the striker. So Cole Palmer and him probably would. Because Oscar did have a lot of potential.
He did have a lot of potential, but he just...
I think that's a very silly thing to say. Top 10 players of all time, no. You're looking at the list these days and you're wondering if players like Aguero even make that list. If players like Shearer even make that list.
No.
If players like Harry Kane even make that list. And then if you think about it, when you go down a bit and you've got players like Dwight York, who's the 3rd highest goal scorer ever in Premier League history, or 4th. He definitely wouldn't make top
Never.
10 all-time list.
No, never.
Beckham definitely wouldn't make that. You know, you've got so many amazing players in there that just
wouldn't make the top 10.
That wouldn't make the top 10.
So Oscar.
Saying Oscar is a horrible shout, I think. And I think we've kind of gone over that. I think we should move on there.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Malt. You need to sort out your opinions
need
there.
to sort it out there, Malt. Big time.
All right, moving on to the next one. We got Jaden.
Yeah.
So he supports Crystal Palace.
Uh-huh.
And he said Cantona was and is still massively overrated.
See, I can get behind this. And I am a Liverpool fan. So all preface, well, I'm a Liverpool fan and Sam's West Brom fan.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you might not directly relate to a lot of these, but I might, being a Liverpool fan. Obviously, Cantona being United legend. I don't think Cantona was all that he was cracked up to be. Obviously, I think the stats were pretty good for Cantona.
Yeah, what, 126 goals and assists in 150 games?
Yeah.
That's really good.
You have to think about the era he was playing in as well. A lot of those sort of...
Yeah, but he was
playing before the Premier League even was about, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but even still, 70 goals, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
That's like a goal every other game. If you average it out, it's about a goal a game.
Yeah,
So
yeah, but I just think... I think Cantona... I think he's a class player. I think Cantona's a very good player, but...
I think he's fairly rated.
I think Cantona's a very good player, but I don't think he's this sort of massive legend that people make him out to be. Would I take him over a Sadio Mane? No, I wouldn't. Would I take him over an Alexis Sanchez in his prime? No, I wouldn't. Would I take it? I think Eric Cantona's a great player, but I think if you were going to put him in the modern game, I think he'd be sort of on that top level, like a Firmino.
Yeah.
Or obviously very similar
Something
sort of
around that,
role,
yeah.
Where, you know, they're very respected and they're one of the best of the generation, but they're
just not.
They're not the sort of legend that they're made out to be.
No.
Still probably what would be one of the best French players to grace Premier League. Obviously not the best. That, you know, Henry's got that nailed on.
Yeah.
But yeah, he'd still be up there probably along with like the Vieiras and such. But yeah, I just don't think he's a sort of legend that he is made out to be.
I think he's fairly rated.
Is there a little bit of bias in there for Jane Crystal Palace fans? Obviously, you know the tension between Cantona and Crystal Palace.
I mean,
obviously the karate kick into the Crystal Palace stand is
and
that is probably the most famous thing Cantona's ever done. You know, fly kick a Crystal Palace fan. So
I'm coming from an unbiased point of view.
Yeah,
I think he's a fairly rated player. Good stats, good all round. I don't know. I think saying he's massively overrated is a bit of a stretch. He could be slightly overrated, if anything, but I think he's fairly rated. You know.
Yeah. He's got the stats to back it.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, that's mostly what you need.
Yeah.
The stats.
And I think he is a hilarious man.
Yeah. I mean, I love football.
He's a brilliant man, Cantona. He's so funny. I'd love to see him as a pundit. I'd love to see Cantona as a pundit, but I don't think he'd care enough to do it. He'd think it'd be like a waste of time and he wouldn't do it, but
Probably not.
Imagine seeing, like, you got 4 pundits. You've got, like, Carragher, Keane,
who else
Cantona, and I don't know, like Thierry Henry. That'd be brilliant. That'd be brilliant. Or like Michael Richards in there. That'd be amazing. That'd be honestly.
I do love Michael Richards.
Oh, that'd be so brilliant. Anyway, like we kind of, well, I think we'll leave the Cantona case sort of there. I don't think it's horrible.
I think it's a bit outrageous to say massively.
Yeah.
But maybe slightly overrated.
Okay.
So, another guy, Zach Chambers. He's a Brighton fan. He's said that Brighton, if they signed Cole Palmer when they were linked with him, they would be title contenders.
Horrible.
I mean, that's got to be biased there. He's obviously being a Brighton fan, he's going to be more biased. He's going to want
his team to be up in the mix. So stupid, idiotic. So many words. You know what a man you are, Zach Chambers, but God, what horrible,
horrific
take that is, buddy. Because you got to think, obviously you're looking at the output Cole Palmer gets now, and
it's amazing.
It's stupendous. It's like you know.
But he still has those players around him.
But but you do like Chelsea. If you look at the players he's got around him, like say if let's look at the current Brighton squad and the current Chelsea squad.
I would take Chelsea's team.
Yeah, but you've still got if anything, you've got better playmakers in the Brighton squad. I'd say Yukuba Minteh is a very good playmaker.
Yeah,
I'd say Karoma Mitoma is very good.
Yeah, 100%.
I'd say obviously he's gone now, but if they signed him when they were linked with him, he would have had a season with Pascal Gross.
Yeah, he was amazing.
He is an amazing playmaker. If you look at it, Brighton's fullbacks are a lot more high-flying than Chelsea's.
Yeah.
Like Cucurella's, I think, is a bit defensive, and Gusto's a bit up and down. But if you look at Kadiologlu, now they have the Turkish man.
Yeah.
He's literally more. His game is more attacking orientated than defensive, and Estupinian is obviously a very attacking
fullback.
And Hinshelwood obviously isn't even a natural right back; he's a natural midfielder.
Yeah.
So he's also another very attacking sort of fullback. I think, I think the question would be:
would Cole Palmer be a better player?
Would he get the same output?
I think he'd get around the same. I don't think he'd be as much as he's getting now. I think the Chelsea team is better for Cole Palmer. I think playing with Nico Jackson helps him out. I don't know. I like Cole Palmer in the Chelsea squad. I think he'd do well at Brighton.
Whilst I have said that, I think for a player to score goals, I think Brighton's got a better team. Because I think Brighton just have a bit of a creative team.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at how many of Palmer's goals are from dead balls, penalties, free kicks.
Yeah.
A lot of them are. But I think from open play, Palmer would maybe even flourish more in a Chelsea team, in a Brighton team. But I think I think this is a horrible take, and I do think this is a horrible take because I think the mentality of the club isn't there.
For being title contenders, I think
when you join Chelsea, you're expected to be one of the best players in the world. Yeah. You're expected to hit the ground running. You're expected to be in the press and the news especially as Cole Palmer, who's a goal-scoring midfielder, sort of a number 10. When you come from a club that, had great players in the likes of like Robin and, Lampard. Yeah. And even in recent years, like when he would have been growing up, he's seen players like Juan Mata, who's come through Eden Hazard.
Yeah, exactly.
Willian, Pedro, all these sort of like players who flourish in their game. And that's sort of... I think Chelsea have always had a very strong assimilation with wingers.
Yeah.
And with goal-scoring sort of midfielders. Because, I think their strikers have always been there, like Drogba, like Costa, who have always been bagsmen.
Yeah.
But I think...
They've always
been deeper in the pitch, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of mentality you get when you join Chelsea, and it's a bigger club and you're expected to do better. I think if you're a player as young as Cole Palmer and you join a club like Brighton, you see that in your career as more of a stepping stone.
Yeah.
You don't
see it as the final club you want to be at.
When you're Cole Palmer, you go to Chelsea, you're like, right, I could spend 15 years at this club and retire.
Yeah.
When you join Brighton as a young player, you don't really go, right, I want to spend the rest of my career here and retire.
Yeah.
Unless you're like a diehard Brighton fan. Because it's just not really how it works. The club, they are not a massive club.
Yeah, I think going with mentality...
For Premier League standards, they're quite a small club.
Yeah, they are. I think going with mentality, Brighton are more focused on Europe rather than getting title. Even a couple of years ago, they were focused on not getting relegated. So...
And while you look at look at Chelsea recently, they ain't focused on the title.
Where are they now? They're like top 4, aren't they?
Yeah, they're top 4, but obviously you look at the last
couple of years. Last year they...
where they came like 11th. Obviously, like 2 years ago they came 11th. Last year I think they came 6th.
Yeah, but they're going up.
But yeah, they are definitely going on the up. But I think it's just the mentality, because obviously when you are Chelsea, you're not expected to, especially in recent years, you're not expected to win titles. But because of the history of the club, it will always sort of be there.
Yeah, 100%.
Like with like clubs like Newcastle, who are obviously not looking for titles these days, but
definitely can in the future.
But that's an expectation. Same with Man United, obviously nowhere near these days, but you play for Man United, and that's why I think Cole Palmer flourishes so much, because he's at a bigger club.
Yeah.
I think some players are just more keen to that. I think if Cole Palmer went to a smaller club, I don't think it would have been as good for his career. But I think
neither,
because he's been chucked in the deep end at a bigger club, and he's been put in a team. He wants to strive. He wants to strive, and that's why he's got so many goals. That's why he's got so many assists in the last 2 years. And I think it wouldn't have made because I think whilst Cole Palmer would have done well at Brighton, he wouldn't have done as well as he's done at Chelsea just because of the mentality he would have had. He would have seen it as more of a, let me play well, get 15 GA in the Prem season and move on to a bigger club. Yeah. Like Chelsea. You know, so I think Cole Palmer would have been good for Brighton. I think he would have definitely made them a better side. I think he could have pushed their chances for Europe a lot more, but
not title contenders. Yeah, that's just
league contenders is a silly dream to have.
I think maybe top 6, but
yeah, definitely push your chances for top 6 more.
I don't even know about top 4. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, Zach. I think that's a bit biased from you there.
I think it's very biased from you.
Yeah, I think that's it with that football opinion. We've done our opinions on it. Moving on to the next one.
Yeah, so this is our friend Noah, who's another Chelsea fan.
So many Chelsea fans
here, and we have been told that he believes that Hazard is the best technical player that the Premier League's ever seen. Which I don't think is too outrageous.
It's not too outrageous.
It's not as outrageous as things we've heard today, such as the Oscar one.
And the Brighton one.
This is and a lot of people would agree with this.
Yeah.
But I just think I think Hazard's definitely up there. He's definitely in the debate. But
definitely top 5, I think. But
yeah, maybe.
I just think there's just a few players that are just way above that level.
I think players like Henry.
Yeah.
Players like De Bruyne.
I think even Jack Wilshere. I don't know what you're on about. Jack Wilshere, when he was young, expected to be one of the best players in the world. He was amazing. Technically gifted, he had everything.
Jack Wilshere is not top 50 most technically gifted players of all time in the
Premier League. That is mental.
It's not mental at all.
That is completely mental.
I think you're just weird. You have a weird thing for Arsenal because your dad supports them. You have a weird thing for Arsenal.
No, Jack Wilshere, when he first met, he was expected to be one of the best, but injuries just ruined his career.
Yeah, but he was never going to be one of them.
Yes,
people expected him to be good.
100%.
But no one would have ever expected him to be like.
I think he could have been better than Gerrard if he continued on his way.
That's so stupid to say.
I don't think so.
That's the worst opinion that we've heard today. That's worse.
I really don't think so.
That's worse than the Oscar one. That is worse than the Oscar one.
I really don't think so.
That's Sam Davies' own horrible opinion.
Jack Wilshere could have been better than Steven Gerrard if he continued without injuries.
Or Frank Lampard, or
100% Frank Lampard.
Kevin De Bruyne.
I don't know about Kevin De Bruyne.
Do you think Kevin De Bruyne is better than Steven Gerrard?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, we've got some Sam Davies terrible opinions in the middle there. But I remember the Hazard opinion is terrible, but as we can agree.
Ben Arfa as well, I think he's up there.
Ben Arfa was very good technically, but not as good as Hazard.
I think he's up there.
But you have you're thinking of niche players that are very good at football are still technically gifted.
Yeah, obviously Ronaldo.
If we're talking about the top 5 most technically gifted players in Premier League of all time, it'd probably be Ronaldo 1, Dennis Bergkamp number 2.
Yeah, 100%.
Thierry Henry number 3, probably Kevin De Bruyne number 4.
Maybe even Bernardo Silva.
And Bernardo Silva would be up there. Thiago would be up there. Thiago is extremely technically gifted. All these players would be up there. Hazard would be up there, I think. Probably getting into around the top 10 mark. Do I think that a player like Bernardo Silva is more technically gifted than Eden Hazard?
It's difficult. It's difficult.
But then I still can play Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes, while I don't rate him at all, I think Paul Scholes is rubbish. He's very technically gifted, and I think probably more technically gifted than Hazard. But there's just so many players that we've had, like David Silva. Yeah, I'd say he's probably more technically gifted. Yaya Toure, probably more technically gifted. Sergio Aguero is probably up there.
Quite a few players that
Zola.
Either on the same level as Hazard or just levels above.
I think there's a lot of. I don't think Hazard has enough to distinct himself as the best.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if I had to pick one, I would pick Dennis Bergkamp. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Dennis Bergkamp. I'd pick Dennis Bergkamp, Thierry Henry, or Cristiano Ronaldo as my best ever.
As your number one.
As my number one technically gifted player.
That's definitely. I think that's definitely the top 3.
I think that's the top 3. I think players like Kevin De Bruyne are just a little bit out. Ooh, what would you say about Luka Modric?
Definitely. Oh yeah.
Because Luka Modric is probably up there.
100%. Yeah.
Luka Modric is probably more technically gifted than Ronaldo.
I don't know.
Premier League.
So did I.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult one.
Yeah, that'd be a good.
But yeah, even
topic. That'd be a good podcast topic.
We're probably forgetting more people as well. I just think Hazard is not the best.
Perez was incredibly talented.
I don't think it's an outrageous opinion.
It's not an outrageous opinion.
It's definitely.
I don't think he's the best. It's definitely wrong.
Yeah.
It's definitely wrong.
But it's not too outrageous.
It's not outrageous.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on.
All right, so I think we've got our funniest opinion.
This is, I think, the best opinion. I think this is the best opinion and the most correct opinion we've got in the whole list.
So we've got Ishmael, who's an Arsenal fan. He said, if Kai Havertz was ugly, Arsenal wouldn't have signed him.
Which I think is so true. I think it's so true. I think in his exact words, he said, if he looked like Wayne Rooney, if he looked like Wayne Rooney and had the same ability as he still had, they wouldn't have signed him. And
I mean, he's not a great player, is he?
Arsenal Football Club have such a thing for Leng players, or like players that are attractive.
Good looking, yeah.
Look who they like Calafiori.
Yeah, good looking player.
I've seen especially in the last year with the Euros, I've seen more hype about Calafiori being good looking than how good of a footballer he is.
That's actually so true.
Ben White thinks he's good looking, but he's not. He looks like an absolute muppet.
I don't know. I would.
Okay, but no, have you seen the picture of him with his fake tan and his booty shorts on?
No.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
I have not seen that.
It's so bad. I think it's before like Tottenham away as well. It's like a massive derby, and he's in the tunnel wearing booty shorts, and his legs are basically a different race to his face.
Oh my god,
it's so bad. But yeah, they do. Yeah, Arsenal as a club as well do have a weird thing for just being gay, and there's nothing wrong with it. But it's just a massive tendency.
Yeah, they definitely only go for players that are attractive.
Odegaard as well. If you look at recent years. I think Arsenal is just one of the gayest clubs out there. All the fans seem to be so gay, and I am so agreeing with Ishmael here. I think this is the first take I can say I full-heartedly agree on.
He's not a great player. He's an okay player. He's a decent player.
He's probably top 5 strikers in the league.
But he's just not
very good. But if he was an ugly guy, what did he say? If he was African and Somalian, I think.
Yeah,
he said if he was Somalian, Arsenal wouldn't have signed him, and I
agree with that.
I can 100% get on board with that. Just absolutely crazy statement, but crazy true statement.
Yeah, 100%.
A lot needs to be said. I don't think because you can even debate this. I don't think this is a debatable topic. I think this is one that's outrageous to say.
Yeah,
but completely true. And I'd back this. I'd back this all day long.
Yeah.
And I'll just move on to the next one. So true. So
true. Very true. All right, next one we got Daniel Reed.
Daniel is a Liverpool fan, so same as me.
Bit of bias.
So
in this
there's
a
lot of bias in this opinion here. He said that Ibrahima Konate is a better centre back than Saliba,
which is absolutely outrageous.
Now hear me out.
I think that is outrageous. You're just gonna say that. I mean, look at your top. You're a Liverpool fan.
Hear me out.
I'll let you talk.
I disagree. I think Saliba's a better centre-back than Konate.
Yeah.
But look at every time I've played for France, or whenever they've played for France, look who's the favourite. Do you know who the favourite is? Konate is the favourite. Konate and Upamecano are always favoured to Saliba for France. And I think there was, in the last international break where the whole Barclays man thing was going on, it was the first time that Konate and Saliba got paired together in a centre-back pairing. And Konate massively outshone Saliba in that. So every time they play for France, all I'm saying is Konate has been better.
Okay. But in the Premier League, Saliba is just levels above Konate.
I wouldn't say levels above. I think if you're going to make a tier list, if you're gonna put it in like a tier list form, right? You'd have Saliba in the top one in the S.
Yeah.
Right? Towards the bottom of the S.
Would you have Van Dijk over Konate?
Van Dijk over Konate, yeah.
Right now.
I think I would. Van Dijk over,
right now.
Van Dijk over Konate.
Would you say VVD is better than Saliba right now?
Easily!
Right now, I don't know about that one.
If I was to rank every centre-back in the Premier League, I'd go VVD, Saliba, Konate, Gabriel.
Okay.
Is that ridiculous to say?
I don't think it's ridiculous. I think it's quite difficult to say. I think Saliba right now is better than Van Dijk.
I think that's a silly opinion.
I don't think it's silly.
Who's conceded the least goals in Premier League this season?
Well, you can't. That's unfair to say because it's not just to do with the centre back.
Who's conceded the least
goals?
It's
also to do with goalkeepers.
Who's conceded the least?
Fullbacks. Your fullbacks outweigh Arsenal's fullbacks heavily.
Yeah, exactly. Not defensively. Calafiori, they play 2 centre back. No, that's a silly thing to say because they play 2 centre backs at fullback, and we play Trent, who's a midfielder, and Robertson. We've been playing Tsimikas this season more than Robertson. It feels like. Mate, Tsimikas started against Milan. He started against Crystal Palace the weekend. Tsimikas has been playing like pretty much just as much as Robertson.
Still, he's a good player.
No, he's not. He's rubbish.
Tsimikas is a good player.
This season, Tsimikas has been so rubbish. Ask any Liverpool fan, Tsimikas has been so rubbish this season. He needs to.
I've not really watched too many Liverpool games.
Did you see his Phil Jones tackle at the weekend against Palace?
No, I've not
like
seen
the one
it.
where he died on the
head. Yeah.
Tsimikas is so rubbish. It's easily his last season in Liverpool. I'm shocked if he makes it past January.
So how come Robertson's not playing? Is he injured?
No, I think Slott's just rotating. Robertson still... So in all comps, we've played 10.
Okay.
I'd say Robertson still played 6 or 7 games. So
okay.
He still played the majority, but Tsimikas is still getting a fair
amount of games.
But trust me, when you're talking about defensively, Arsenal are better fullbacks because they play Ben White and Calafiori, who are both centre backs at fullback. So they have a tighter back line. They have a more one back line, and they place 2 CDMs in front of them. We play one, who's not even a natural CDM. It's Ryan Gravenberch. He's been like
one of your best players.
He's been one of the best players in the league this season. He's been out of his skin, but still, and we're about to have. If we can continue this record when Alisson's just got injured and we're going to have Kelleher in goal, maybe even Yaros, because I don't know why Kelleher didn't play the weekend, but Yaros might even have to be in goal. Trust me, we've conceded 2 so far this season. Arsenal have conceded 5. I think this is completely separate debate, but I think Van Dijk is better than Saliba right now. I think Saliba's very good, but I think the tighter debate out of them two is Konate and Gabriel. I think
Gabriel is not better than Konate, but
but I think the debate that people should be having is not Konate and Saliba, because that did used to be a debate.
I think Saliba just outweighs him.
You could probably salvage an argument, like the national team argument, and the Arsenal are a lot more defensive than Liverpool argument. But Saliba is just gone past Konate now. I still think Konate doesn't get enough credit.
I think that too. I think he's massively underrated.
I think he's definitely the
third
best in the league.
He's a great centre back.
Especially when you've got players like Ruben Diaz still in there. Akanji's playing well. John Stones. Obviously Guardiola wasn't really a centre back. Van der Ven, Romero. Pau Torres, Konsa. I still think Konate is massively
underrated,
overlooked and underrated.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's just about. But yeah, I think this is the wrong question to be asking. I think it's a silly take. I think Konate shouldn't be. Konate's definitely not better than Saliba, and Konate definitely shouldn't. I don't think he should be compared to Saliba. He should be compared to Gabriel. I think that's more of a fair comparison.
I think Konate is better than Gabriel.
Same.
Gabriel's a good centre back, great centre back,
good goal scorer.
Yeah, 100%. But in terms defensively, Konate I just think outweighs Gabriel. Yeah, not much else to say there. I think Saliba is just.
I think Saliba's just got.
I think he's just
pulled ahead there. Okay, so we're moving on to our mate Jeevan. So this is not his own. This is not his own belief.
It's someone that he knows.
Someone that he knows. Someone that he knows.
And I really want to find out who this person is.
I desperately want to find out because this is a horrible opinion.
They said Suarez isn't top 10 in the generation. In this generation.
In the generation that's sort of just gone, I'd say.
Yeah.
Suarez isn't top 10 players.
Which is absolutely mental because he is top 3.
You got Messi, you got Ronaldo, and then you got Luis Suarez. He's above Neymar.
100%.
He's above Lewandowski and Benzema. That's such a forced debate, by the way. Suarez, Benzema, Lewandowski.
Just
Suarez, Lewandowski, Benzema.
Yeah.
Easily. Benzema's had one good season.
Just thinking about it, like 13, 14 Suarez.
Unreal.
That is just. That's amazing.
It's top 3 probably best seasons in a Premier League we've ever seen.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, getting 31 goals, that just
he played 33 games that season.
Yeah, that just doesn't happen.
He got like 31 goals and like 7 assists in 33 games in the Premier League. That's unreal.
Yeah,
that is just not allowed. Literally not allowed. That's why I had to. That's why Liverpool had to sell him, because the FA were like, no, you can't even do that. Yeah, incredible player, and then obviously he went on to Barcelona and did even more crazy stuff.
Yeah, with MSN, better than Neymar.
Yeah, he's definitely better than Neymar for me. I'd have him over Neymar, I'd have him over Lewandowski, I'd have him over Benzema, have him over Ramos, have him over Neuer, have him over Iniesta, have him over Busquets. Anyone in this generation that you want to put in there,
he's top 3.
Over Bale.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know. How most of these are even being brought in.
Yeah,
Suarez just beats
Suarez is definitely there. best for me, the best striker of all time is Luis Suarez.
I can agree with that. I don't think that's outrageous.
I think R9 maybe. I think okay. Obviously, the two contenders to the title of best striker of all time would be R9 and Van Basten.
Yeah.
They are the two in debate.
Them without injuries.
I think Van Basten would be the best striker of all time.
Yeah.
And one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
Because he was unreal. He was like 28 and won 3 Ballon d'Ors or something in a row, back to back. Like, that's unreal. Obviously,
even R9 without injuries, that would be
R9 without
amazing.
Injuries. I still think Suarez would top him a little bit.
I don't know. It's a difficult one.
But I still think Suarez would be ahead of him.
Suarez is a mortal round player because he can get the assists as well.
Yeah, and he can get the assists. And hey, look, Suarez won, and obviously you can't blame Suarez because they did get their injuries. So Suarez is the best striker of all time. And obviously Suarez won 2 European Golden Shoes in peak Messi Ronaldo era.
Yeah, exactly. Which is just
in like that 2013 to 2017 era, he won 2 European top scorer awards.
And that's crazy.
Outscoring like pretty much peak Messi and pretty much peak Ronaldo. That's unreal. That is actually unreal stats.
Yeah.
I think he probably should have got a Ballon d'Or. 2015 when Messi won it, I think Suarez could have had his hands on that. Yeah. To be honest, and I think it would have been valid. Better than Neymar in that 3. Yeah, just unreally, but like actually horrible opinion.
Not top 10. Saying top 3 or top 5 would have been less outrageous.
Top 3,
top 10.
Top 3 wouldn't be outrageous. Top 5 would still be outrageous. Top 10 is just
That's just next level. You don't know.
Have you watched a game before? Have you ever watched a game before? And if you have watched a game before, it's not been a game Luis Suarez has played, and I'll tell you that because this guy's never put in a bad performance in his life. He's still scoring goals.
Yeah,
he's like 42. He's old. He's old now.
Yeah, he's old.
He even went over and played in Uruguay for a bit. He's come back. He's playing for Inter Miami now.
Yeah,
and he's
still banging in the goals.
And he is still banging in goals. Honestly, I think Luis Suarez is top 3 of the generation.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, obviously not very close to top 2, but yeah. I think that's a horrible take. And Jeevan, tell me who said that, because I'll find them. I'll find them. That is a horrible opinion to have.
All right, moving on to the next one. Kai Payne.
Yeah.
K-Pizzle.
Big man Kai Payne.
QPR fan. Also Liverpool.
Yeah, but I think he called himself a QPR fan.
Yeah.
Very excited to be in the podcast today. Probably the most optimistic, the most fun, and the most sort of everyone can agree on take is that Lee Carsley can win England a World Cup,
which is it definitely can happen.
And obviously, I'd love to see it, and I think everyone would love to see it.
Definitely can happen.
Definitely could happen.
With the England team that we've got now,
which is unreal,
we should be. It's definitely challenging for it.
Yeah, it is definitely challenging for it. I just think if Lee Carsley needs to lock the formation down.
Yeah.
Although I do have massive worries about Lee Carsley. Like sometimes he says things and I'm just like, Lee Carsley, you don't know what you're talking about. Do you see what he said about Cole Palmer?
What's he said?
So when it was the Euros and we were having the whole like formation issue, how do we get in Cole Palmer and everyone else at the same time? But we were having the left back issues. He said he put Cole Palmer at left back. Lee Carsley, if we're ever at a major tournament...
Was that a joke or was
it was not a joke. Serious? If I ever see Lee Carsley put Cole Palmer at left back in a major tournament, I'm turning off my TV, I'm not watching the game. I'm not watching the game. Because, oh my goodness, I'll be outraged.
That is mental.
But I'm hoping that we don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Because Lee Carsley actually brings up left backs to the first squad that are not injured.
Yeah.
Because we had Luke Shaw.
Who was this, Chilwell?
No, Chilwell didn't even get picked. It was Trippier who's playing at false left back.
No, I think Leif Davis should get picked.
Leif Davis should be there. Who's the other one I'm thinking of?
What, injury-wise?
No, there's another left back.
What club are you thinking?
Tyreek Mitchell, I wouldn't mind getting picked.
I don't know if I wouldn't like him starting.
Not over Leif Davis. Leif Davis would 100% be my number 1 pick for that left back spot. Tyreek Mitchell, and then there's another left back I was thinking of. Who's like down in the lower parts of the table, I'm pretty sure.
Connor Townsend?
Not Connor Townsend. He would Connor Townsend. If Connor Townsend ever got near, but if Hagen was English, I'd like to see Hagen.
Hagen's a great player.
Yeah, there was someone else I was thinking of. It might have been It was either like top Championship or like bottom Premier League. But I do like Lee Carsley because he does pick what he knows well. We can see that through how much Angel Gomez has been selected. Obviously, I think he's gone 2 for 2 on Angel Gomez right now. And I don't think he's really impressed massively, Angel Gomez.
No.
Against, I think it was Finland, he was pretty poor. But he has, because Lee Carsley obviously has worked with him as the under-21s. And obviously Lee Carsley won the under-21 Euros, which is super important to have because he's got winning mentality.
With England as well.
With England. He's got winning mentality with England. And, he just kind of knows what he's doing and he trusts the players. He's brought back up Angel Gomez.
Yeah.
I think he's, really confident, and that might be the most important thing to have an England manager right now. I think he's really, really confident. And I think that's just really important. And I think if he because international tournaments, they're kind of like, there's no form in them. There's no form. That's obviously how players like Harry Maguire and Jordan Pickford and stuff always get picked.
Yeah.
And always start and always play well. Because there's no form. It doesn't matter who you were all season. You're a new
player.
You're a new man for 8 games.
Yeah.
And you can play how you want to play. Not even 8, 7 games. And you can play how you want to play. And it's all about confidence. If you go into, that's how so many upsets happen. Because if you go into a game with confidence, you're probably going to win that game.
Yeah.
And I like how confident he is as a manager, which obviously can lead to good things. I think Lee Carsley could definitely win England a World Cup.
Me too, but I'm not sure because I think Gareth Southgate, I think people were underrating him as an England manager. I think he was hated on massively. I don't think he should have been. Getting England to semi-final, final, and then a final. I think that's still good, but I think was it Euros with Spain in the final?
Yeah,
we should have won that.
Massively. I think look how weak that Spain side was.
Yeah, and we just got tore up by Lamine Yamal.
Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, but that was the fullbacks going against us there.
Yeah,
Kyle Walker got absolutely killed in that game. And I think he's a bit.
He shouldn't start for England now.
I think Trent, to be honest, is probably better defensively than Kyle Walker these days.
Yeah.
He's massively improved on his defensive game, especially if we've got players like in a double pivot, like a double pivot like Rice and Mainu.
Yeah.
That's very good. Or even if Jude Bellingham drops deeper. I think it's very important to have that sort of team, even if going on in the future Saka plays left back for England, I wouldn't even care.
That's not massively outrageous.
If we play in a 5-back and Saka plays left back for England, I wouldn't really care because look how well he played. In that second half of the Euros, especially against who is it? The team that Jude Bellingham scored the bicycle kick. It was like Slovenia or Slovakia.
I think it was Slovenia.
And Saka played left wing back and he played that game of his life or something. In Switzerland, he played left wing back and he was outstanding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind too much if Saka sort of picks up that position regularly. In a 5-back, it has to be a 5-back. Because if we're playing a 4-back and he's in a left back, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to another one. This is from our mate James, who's another Liverpool fan.
He said Van Dijk is better than Beckenbauer.
Yeah. Beckenbauer, obviously.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
Especially with the footballers they're coming against.
Yeah.
I think that goes against it heavily.
Yeah, because if you look at it, Beckenbauer played ages ago. He was playing against farmers, literally. He did win the Ballon d'Or. He's one of the only centre-backs to win the Ballon d'Or. But Van Dijk obviously playing in this more modern, more aerodynamic, more mainstream sort of game.
Yeah.
He has to be a lot more brutal. Because obviously, Beckenbauer was a centre-back that could go up and play striker. And I think when you're looking at that, like, how good of a centre-back were you?
Yeah, exactly.
If you could go up and play striker and get so many goals a game, you're either playing against absolute
shitters.
Yeah. You're playing against people who could barely play the sport. You're playing against people with one leg, or you just weren't that good of a centre back, and,
exactly.
and you were just good at everything. You're one of those people who are just good at everything.
Yeah.
So to be honest,
I don't think it's outrageous.
I don't think this is an outrageous
I kind of agree
take.
with it, you know. I think Van Dijk is an amazing centre back.
Yeah, I think Van Dijk's one of the best of all time.
If it was Maldini, I'd probably say that's a bit outrageous.
He did originally say Maldini as well in the conversation, and I was like,
I do not agree with.
Slow your roll. And he did say Vidic as well, but I was like,
Vidic, yeah, it's
Van
clear.
Van Dijk's gone past Vidic now.
Van Dijk's clear.
He's gone past Vidic.
Yeah,
to be honest, I think not too much of an outrageous take to say Van Dijk's better than Beckenbauer. We might get a lot of hate for that.
Yeah.
But that's something I can agree with. Just the modern game is so much more like streamlined. And I know you might say like, oh, what about players like, you know, Maradona is your GOAT.
Yeah.
Maradona's your GOAT. So how would you sort of counter argue that? You know, you rate Maradona so highly. Why don't you rate Beckenbauer?
Yeah. It's difficult. Most of the time, my like I said, I think on the last podcast, or 2 podcasts ago, Maradona, I get most of it from my dad, because my dad has the best ball knowledge out of everyone that I know. Not you, because you have some outrageous takes. Okay. What was that? What? It was like... no, you already know what I'm going to say.
Yeah. What was that was a long time ago. That was a long time ago.
What was it?
I said it a long time ago.
What was it? This is more outrageous than anything that's been said.
No, it's not. I said... This was before I knew ball. This was
in year 10.
Yeah, I didn't know ball in year 10. I didn't know ball in year 10. That's 3 years ago. I didn't know ball
Okay,
then.
cool. What was it? What was the take?
I said that Xabi Alonso might have been better than Kevin De Bruyne.
Might have been. You said he's better than Kevin De Bruyne.
I said Xabi Alonso might have been better than
Which is crazy.
So if we take back 10 years...
Shut up.
Okay.
Like I said...
But I didn't know ball.
Yeah, my dad has the best football knowledge that I know. So I take most of it from that. He does have better football knowledge than me.
I'd love to talk to your dad about football.
I've obviously not watched full games. I've seen highlights. He just looks amazing. Even kicking the ball, like, you know,
Maradona 7.
Maradona 7, yeah. That is that is unreal. I know it's not in a game, but
but like,
still control on the ball.
Yeah, but YouTubers can do the Maradona 7. Chris MD can do the Maradona 7.
Can he?
Easily.
Wow.
Tom Garrett easily did a Maradona 7.
Tom Garrett?
Tom Garrett. Tom Garrett's like
cool.
one of the best YouTube footballers ever.
Yeah, I know.
He played D1 in America.
D1?
Yeah, in America.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Maradona
I didn't know that,
no.
No, but even still, from what I've seen, how he can cruise past players so easy. I know Messi can as well. I think those are definitely top 2.
In my top 2 as well, yeah. But Maradona,
I think they can easily be interchanged. Going off what I've watched, obviously I'd say Messi is better.
Yeah.
But because I've seen highlights obviously, but not full games. Most of it, like I said, is from my dad.
Yeah. Anyway. So if your dad told you Beckenbauer was the best player of all time, you'd probably disagree with this take.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to.
George Miller.
So
Tottenham fan.
George Miller, Tottenham fan, and that might play massively in this.
Massively, because
he has said that if Spurs start taking their chances, get a bit more lucky, and shore up defensively, and also sign every prime Messi and prime Ronaldo and blah 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 blah. So basically, if Spurs just turn a corner and magically do everything right, they'll win the league. They'll win the league, which that does make sense. If Spurs win every game 5-0, then they will probably win the league. But Spurs cannot win every game 5-0, and they will never win the league. And the words he said to me were if they can start getting a couple more chances right and lock up a bit more defensively, there will be they'll definitely be above City and Arsenal. First of all, there's another team that are top of the league that you need to worry about, pal. Yeah, Mighty Reds, we're going to win it all. We're going to win the league.
It's on the wrong side.
It's because the camera. Liverpool, I think now will win the league. I think Liverpool will win the league. Spurs, I don't even think they'll get top 4. Will they even get top 5?
I think they'll get top 4.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think they'll get 4th. Liverpool are not winning the league. City are winning the league.
No. But that is just horrible. That is just a horrible opinion.
Well, it's like saying any player on their day is best player in the world.
Yeah.
It's like
Like, yeah.
Come on, it's true.
If a player scores,
if a player scores 10 goals in a Champions League final, they're the best player in the world.
If Dominic Calvert-Lewin scored 10 goals next week, then yeah, he'd be the best player on the planet for a weekend.
But he's not.
But but he wouldn't be able to do that. So it's just, even if Spurs, because Spurs do have a good team.
Yeah.
I really rate Spurs. So if we stop taking the mick a bit and they do look up a bit defensively and they do start taking their chances and maybe they get in a proper number 9 over the, because like an experienced number 9 and a better right winger. And actually not even, because Brennan Johnson's come into it now.
Yeah, he has.
I think he's 4 and 4. But if Spurs, they just lost 3-2 to Brighton. If Spurs come into it, yeah, I just don't think. I don't think they could. I think they'd challenge for top 4.
I think they'll be lucky to get top 3. I think they will get top 4.
I think it'd be incredibly hard to get top.
Yeah, especially with the top 3 that are right now. Yeah. But I just don't think they'll win the league.
Well, okay, take it away. We've got some from who?
So this is Harry. He's a West Ham fan. Got quite a few opinions here. I think you should look at.
What we're gonna actually, because he's brought us quite a few here. We're gonna rattle them off quite quickly.
Okay.
So first one's first. Sir Alex Ferguson. This is my first time reading it. I've not seen these.
Yeah, I've not seen these either.
Sir Alex Ferguson is overrated as hell and is only successful due to rest being in his pocket. Horrible take.
That is outrageous.
We're not going to talk about that. The UCL lost his magic after 2019.
Kind of true.
No, I don't think.
I think it's kind of true.
I think the UCL has. I think the UCL's got loads of magic this season.
I think this season with the new format,
especially
getting better.
Teams like Brest going 2-2 and Milan in 32nd out of 36 or whatever. I think the UCL is definitely back this year, but for the first time.
I think between 2019 and 2023, that's when it was.
It did die down for a little bit, especially with like Madrid back to back.
Yeah.
I think 2022 was probably the best year we had, but I think 2019 the problem was it was just so special.
Yeah.
We were like Spurs, Ajax, Liverpool, Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just so special. The final gets overhated as well. I think the final was good. Maybe just because Liverpool won it.
Yeah.
But I think the final was good. But I can agree. I think kind of Chelsea. I think the season Chelsea won it was good as well. Yeah. I think Chelsea winning it alone that season was amazing because look at the team they won it with. Like what the hell? How do you win the Champions League?
So true.
You look like a year later and Liverpool and Real Madrid were in the final and look at the teams they had.
Yeah.
The year City won it was horrible. Inter went on a nice run, but it was horrible. The year Bayern won it was horrible.
It's just I think this season is definitely getting its magic back.
Bayern year, rubbish. Chelsea year, probably the best we've had in a while. And then it was Real Madrid, rubbish. And then it was City, rubbish. This year, Champions League's back.
Yeah, 100%.
Actually, no, didn't. Real Madrid just won it against Dortmund. That was so rubbish. That year was so. Dortmund was really fun to watch that year, but apart from that, it was so rubbish.
The final was proper. It weren't great to watch.
Boring to watch.
So we got another one here. This is also what Zach said to me as well.
Okay.
So he said Mourinho's over Pep.
Mourinho over Pep, I don't think it's too outrageous to say.
He said Pep's a fraud and he ruined football.
Zach, the Brighton fan, the Cole Palmer Brighton fan.
But I agree.
Did come into this, and I think a lot of people will agree. Pep, I don't think Pep is a fraud. Pep is a very good manager, but he's never got it. He's never done it out of the trenches.
No, he's not. He's always had the money.
Super teams, and he's always had a lot of money. Bayern, Barca, City. They've always had super teams. They've always been brilliant.
Yeah.
He's never got it out of the mud like a Klopp. Klopp did with Liverpool. That was a stinking team. That was a honking team. Mourinho did it with Porto. Won the Champions League with Porto. Sick. Ferguson did it with Aberdeen. Look at what he did with Aberdeen.
Yeah, exactly.
Class. Pep. He's in that debate. You can talk. I think Wenger's sort of an outlier to this because Wenger was a brilliant manager. He fell off a bit at the end, but Wenger was a brilliant manager, and he had that Arsenal team that he inherited, but look at where he was in the Japanese league before that.
Yeah, exactly.
First of all, whoever scouted that man has got a serious eye. How do you even pluck that? And and I think he arguably did probably the most impressive thing because he was a no one. He came into that job, and everyone would have been like, "Who is this no one? Why is he in charge of Arsenal? He's not fit to be in charge of Arsenal." And then he did the second greatest achievement in Premier League history behind Leicester. So Invincibles is the second greatest Premier League achievement behind Leicester.
I think Centurions is quite up.
Centurions is not more impressive because the league was so dead that year.
I think even Liverpool's winning side, that's quite good.
Liverpool's winning side was better, but it wasn't more impressive.
Yeah. When you was younger, this is off topic here, did you think Arsenal was named after Arsene Wenger?
Yeah, everyone thought that. Okay, and everyone thought West Ham and West Brom were a derby as well.
I used to think Southampton and Sunderland were a derby.
Okay, that's just weird. It's not the same, but everyone thought West Ham and West Brom were a derby. Yeah. Let's read some more reviews.
Let's see.
Centurions were only good as there were some teams in transition or ended in an era. That is exactly what I've just said. Centurions are still really impressive. They're still a really great team, but it's not even City's best team. Probably not even, I'd say in City's top 3 best teams. I'd take 2023 City. I'd take any, to be honest, any team of the 2020 seasons, I would have over the Centurions team. It was obviously prime Sane, Aguero, Sterling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the league was so dead. Liverpool was sort of coming. That was the start of Liverpool's come up, and obviously Liverpool were really focused on Champions League that year. Chelsea were falling off, and they were obviously really focused on Europa League. Same with Arsenal. Spurs are just Spurs. United were just United. United came second in the league that year, I think.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That's how dead the league was. So yeah, I kind of agree with that one there. First good take from the man.
I think it's alright. Well, Mourinho, Pep, that was a good take.
Yeah.
What else?
Newcastle aren't as big as they think. Newcastle are a massive club. That's rubbish.
I think that's a rubbish opinion.
The GOAT debate is so forced. Messi clears by a country mile.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
It depends if you're talking about the Messi-Ronaldo GOAT debate.
Messi Maradona.
Messi-Maradona should be the real GOAT debate, but it's just more undershadowed. But yeah, I agree. Arsenal can dominate English football for the next 3 to 6 years. Stupid.
I don't think that's stupid, I think it'll be between Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Only way I can see Arsenal Arsenal can win a couple league titles in the next 3 to 6 years. So if they said Arsenal could win 4 to 5 league titles in the next 3 to 6 years, I'd say yes. But the word dominated, they win.
Yeah, dominated is a bit weird.
Dominating is the only way I can see that happening is if something horrible happens to Liverpool. Chelsea are on the come up, so if something horrible happens to Chelsea, and if City get that 1-1-5.
Yeah.
That's the only way that could happen. I don't think they can dominate. And that's a bit of a weird thing to say as a West Ham fan as well, I think.
Manchester United will never dominate again.
No, because I
don't know about never.
You know how never's a silly word to use because you don't know what history it could have in store.
Yeah, exactly.
And imagine saying when Bournemouth were in National League 30 years ago, people they'll never be in the Premier League. They'll never get a top half finish in the Premier League.
And look at what they do.
Yeah. Same stuff with Southampton, who went bouncing up the divisions. Same stuff with City. Have you seen the clip of that City fan, the very famous City fan, or online famous, not famous? Yeah. But he's he said to his mate, when they were in League 2, if we win an FA Cup in my lifetime, that'll be good for me. And then he was like, I've taken my son to Wembley so many times he gets bored of it. Have you never seen that clip?
I've not seen that clip, no.
I'll show you after. It's
mental.
You know what I mean? But you can never say never because you don't know.
You don't know what's going to happen.
It's such a money-orientated game.
Yeah.
You never know what can happen. And then this is the last one. Liverpool title-winning side sweeps past the United 99. I wouldn't say sweep past because that's a 3-4-0 win.
But I think they'll win.
I think they'd win the game. If the two sides went up against each other,
2-0, 2-1.
I reckon. Would they win? Because you got to think about the first.
It's definitely a hard team.
I think literally it's literally down to the day. I'm a Liverpool fan as well.
Do you think at Anfield,
Liverpool would win? I think at Old Trafford, United would definitely win.
Yeah.
I think Ferguson with just the whole because obviously none of us are old enough to know about the Class 99 really, but I think it was like a brothership in football.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I still think more times than not the Liverpool title winning side would win that.
Yeah.
Because it was so tight knit, even though the strongest side never played in that season, because obviously the only time the actual strongest side, the Alisson, Robertson, Trent,
yeah, that was only a couple.
They only played together once. They only played together once, and that was the Tottenham final in the Champions League, and obviously they won.
Yeah.
So obviously, that team never played with each other in that league season.
Which is mental. I don't know how.
Because obviously you had a lot of French players like Origi, Shaqiri, Minamino.
Yeah.
And then you go to midfield, you've got some Milner. Yeah. Curtis Jones was coming through that season. Harvey Elliott was coming through that season. Definitely can see why. And obviously injuries.
Yeah.
So I think if you put them up in a game, more often than not, the Liverpool side will come out on top.
But it depends on the day.
It does depend on the day, yeah. But yeah, I think that was a fun little quick
fast, yeah.
Quick, like, fire through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that'll do it. 54 minutes. So we are cutting down on the timings.
I think 2 hours is a bit too long.
2 hours is a bit too much. Only for this week anyway, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that should do. We haven't got any other opinions to bring you.
Yeah.
If this was good, we'll do a second part if this was good.
Also, let us know what you'd like to see.
Yeah, give us some inspiration, because we're struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
A bit of inspiration would be nice. But yeah, to be honest, thank you if you have made it the whole way through.
Thank you for sending in your opinions.
Yeah, in the comments. We love reading your comments. They're so fun to read.
Love you, Shaheen.
Yeah. We're gonna try and get this back out to being more weekly.
Yeah,
more frequent.
Trying to do Two-A-Side Tuesday.
Two-A-Side Tuesdays would be an absolute dream. Will I even get this out? This is being recorded on the Tuesday. Hopefully we'll get this out on the Tuesday.
We hope so, yeah.
But yeah, thank you all if you have made it the whole way through. Thank you so much for listening or watching the whole way through.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see you again soon for episode 4. Thank you, everyone.
All right, see you in the next video.
See you in the next podcast.